What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on Pig City Hockey. This is going to be recap reactions for game 36 out of 82 for the Winnipeg Jets 2021-2022 season, where they lose to the Nashville Predators by a score of 5-2 in a weird game. And again, I say weird game so often when I do these recap reactions because the Jets are just a weird middle pack team. That's the best way to describe them. Like, they're not terribly you know what? No, they're mediocrity. Like that's just the perfect way to put it. That's exactly what they are. Because they're not terrible, even though they play terrible sometimes. And they're not this amazing elite team, even though sometimes they can compete with the best in the league. They're just this weird team that turns it on sometimes, and sometimes they just completely shit the bed and look like this. And this wasn't even a terrible game. It really wasn't, because I would say for the second and third period, I would say maybe about half the period each, maybe more, especially in that third period, the Jets dominated at times. What really came down to was UC Saros had a fantastic night. He's been having a Vezina caliber season, and he's been fantastic in this night tonight against the Jets. And Hellebuyck kind of wasn't. Not every goal tonight on Hellebuyck obviously was his fault, but he needs to be sharper. And the team needs to be sharper. And this game it sucked. It really did, because the Jets had so many good opportunities. There were so many things that looked like they were working as the game progressed. But coming out of the gate, it was horrible. Like, it was just a slow, bad coming out of the gate party for the Winnipeg Jets here. They were slow to the start, and Nashville really jumped on them, and they really had a jump to their game, and they were playing fast hockey. They were taking advantage of turnovers. They were really moving the puck well in the neutral zone. The Jets just couldn't combat any of that puck movement, and that's what really killed them, because then you have Tolvanen coming in and scoring to make it 1-0, and yeah, it's like, okay, you know, it scored 4 minutes in, 5 minutes in, it's 1-0. You've been playing bad for the first 5 minutes. Get yourself together, you know, regroup, let's go out there. And what do? They play the same style of hockey for another 5 minutes, not really playing much better, and then Mikael Granlund gets his 6th of the season, and he, again, about 5 minutes after that goal. And then what happens? About another little less than 5 minutes of continuously playing the same way, not changing anything. In hockey, you have those 5-minute kind of areas where you want to really improve your play. If you don't get going, it's harder. You're just digging yourself deeper into that time clock. And the Jets just could not get themselves out of that this night. Every single time they had a chance to kind of reset and maybe reevaluate this game and try to go back out there, they played like crap. They could not get anything going in that first period, and they really shot themselves in the foot. Because if the Jets were able to maybe keep this like a 2-goal game, maybe even a 1-goal game, 2-goal game, not allowing 3 goals in the first, especially because they were not good goals, then maybe you have an opportunity to win this game because you played so well. Because you have Pierre-Luc Dubois coming in 6 minutes into that second period, and he scores his 17th of the season. I believe he leads the team in power play goals, has for a while, just adds on to that with another power play goal from Connor and Morrissey. And Josh Morrissey was fantastic tonight. Josh Morrissey really was kind of the star of the team, I would say, tonight. Morrissey tonight, he played a really good game. He had 2 assists. And he really just looked good out there. He also led the defense on ice time, as he usually does. He had a heavy workload tonight, almost playing 26 minutes of hockey. Really good game for him, I'm not going to lie. I like seeing that. I love seeing Jomo have these good games, and he's had a much more improved season from where we've seen him. Schmidt has really helped him out, and I think Josh Morrissey is still a good player. His contract could be an overpayment, but I still think there's a lot of value in Josh Morrissey, and we're going to see his game grow and adapt. He's still kind of, in a learning curve in his NHL career. He could get better, he could get worse. We don't really know where he's at right now, so we got to give him some time before we really kind of seal him down like everyone else has. But I still like Josh Morrissey, and he had a great game tonight. But again, the first period is what killed us, because you go into that second period, you got Pierre-Luc Dubois coming in, having that good goal, and then, if that was the first goal of the game, which it could have been, if you just were able to play better hockey and Hellebuyck stood on his head, then maybe you had a chance, because you did play better throughout that second and third period. Luke Kunin scores to make it 4-1. This was not looking good at this point for the Jets. I didn't have much hope in it, but that Pierre-Luc Dubois goal, it gave them some life. I would say after that goal, they really started to get things going, and they played better hockey. It's just really hard to justify the ice time minutes, though. Like, you're talking about improved and better hockey, right? They played better. We all know they played better. If you watch this game from start to finish, you know that there was improvement in that second and third period. It was obvious, especially with how much pressure they were able to put on Saros in Nashville's own end. And I just can't get over these line combos that they had going out there tonight. So some of these combinations and the minutes dispersion. I've liked Dave Lowry and how he handles minutes, but tonight, I'm sorry, but it's just really weird when Adam Lowry is doing nothing really out there, and he's playing 16 minutes of ice time, almost 17 minutes of ice time. Like, that might be like, oh, you know, that's not a terrible spot for him, but, like, compare that to Svechnikov, who played 4 minutes, less than 4 minutes, 3 minutes and 26 seconds to be exactly. How can you justify that? Jansen Harkins played 7 minutes. Like these are guys that are better. Like, Christian Vesalainen played 10 fucking minutes. What does he bring? Nothing. I want to see him succeed, but he's the invisible man out there. He doesn't do anything. You got younger, like, I know Jansen Harkins isn't this top line amazing player, but when young guys are playing well and are putting in effort and you can see the effort in limited minutes, give them a more increased role. Don't, you know, push them down that lineup and then jack up everyone else's ice time that's not performing. The only guy that was able to even be half as good tonight was Pierre-Luc Dubois on the offensive end, because he always is. Kyle Connor tonight just had this problem with he was shooting way too hard and way too quick. He was just really inaccurate. There was just so much good in this game. So much of it. And then it all gets just squandered because the Jets just couldn't put it together again, like we've seen countless times this season. It's really frustrating because you're getting to the point now where you really have to decide what team you are. You're 17-12. You are a bad team when it comes to having these consistency runs when actually getting able to get wins. We're bad at it. We had one good stretch in November when I was in Winnipeg, luckily enough to witness those games where we were okay, that long homestand. That was the only time we were okay, and even then, we lost the last 2 games of that homestand. The Jets have had these problems lingering. Paul Maurice gets fired, whatever you want to call it, resigns. Dave Lowry comes in. Dave's done a good job at improving areas. The penalty kill has been improved. That's 100%. You know, again, the penalty kill was perfect tonight on 3 attempts by Nashville. The power play has also been improved a little bit because we're actually seeing some goals, even though they were 1 for 5, and that is still terrible with the power play and how good that they have with the skill. Like, we know how many skilled players there are, especially when it comes to a power play. We've seen in the past. They just can't make it work anymore. There is areas of improvement with this team. But I don't think that we are going to make the playoffs if we keep playing like this. Actually, no, I don't. It's not that I don't think. I know we won't make the playoffs. This team is horrible in the second half. I've talked about this on the Prairie Puck podcast. I know Zach has talked about it. Ryan has talked about it. Anyone that knows the Winnipeg Jets, even in the major media and TSN and Sportsnet, and even on the NHL Network and whatever other services you use for NHL news and inside information, we all know the Jets are not a second-half team. It's been evident for a very long time. They're not good in that portion, and we have a lot of interesting players when it comes to the trade deadline. I'm just bringing this up now because, again, this is a game where the Jets may have improved play and looked okay, but they still lost 5-2 to a Central Division team that has been kind of on a hot streak, is 24-14. They needed to win this game, especially because Nashville's kind of been slumping lately. It's important to get these points. They didn't even get to overtime. How do you go from playing against a team so good in Washington and coming into the Predators and just doing this? It's just so frustrating. There's no consistency at all across the board with this team. And I don't know what's going to change that. I really don't. I think if we're below 500, or even at this bubble playoff team where we're like, and maybe a wild card if we fight for and get lucky with some positioning in the West and everything like that, I still think we should sell at the deadline. We have a lot of interesting prospects right now that are NHL ready, and we could really use a reset with this team. Keep the core, kind of shut out the older players and kind of some maybe replaceable guys that's not really, 100% locked. Keep your Connor, keep your Pierre-Luc Dubois, get him signed. Ehlers you've got, you keep Josh Morrissey, you keep Nate Schmidt, Connor Hellebuck, everything else, Neil Pionk, blah, blah, blah. You know the core players. You move out guys like Stastny, who's expiring after this year. Try to move out Brendan Dillon, even though you're probably going to lose value on what you paid for those 2 seconds. It doesn't matter. You've got too many young prospects coming up. You got to move out Brendan Dillon potentially. I think there could be value there even. You got guys like Christian Vesalainen who are just doing nothing with this team and taking up roster spots. So either send him to the Moose and let him rot away like Marco Dano, or trade him off and get rid of him like you did with Nick Patan. Either way, get him out of that lineup. There's just so many. So many. Andrew Kopp as well. What do you do with him? Are you going to pay the man? He's over 10 goals again. What do you do? How much does he command? It's just there's too many questions. He would easily get an amazing rental payment at the deadline, and so would Paul Stastny, in my opinion. We have a lot of these high-value type trade players going into this deadline. Stastny's a playoff veteran and a playoff warrior. He can score you goals, get assists. He does everything in the playoffs. He's notorious for it. Andrew Kopp has been really, really good the last 2 seasons at bouncing around the lineup and being consistent and being able to play with the top dogs on a top lineup. You've got value there. We're wasting these guys, especially if we're just going to be a middle-pack team and maybe pick near the end of the lottery if we're lucky at this point. Or what else? Get to the playoffs and see what happens? I don't want to have that attitude when we're this bad and inconsistent. Do you want to get swept again by Montreal? I know that can't happen because they're last place, but do you want that same type of thing to happen? Do you want another St. Louis? Do you want another Calgary series? Because I don't. Yeah, the Edmonton series was sweet, but this team, it needs to take a look at itself in the mirror. Management, everyone needs to really look, including myself, and really look and say, okay, what are we? A lot of people have been saying we're not a contender and the window's kind of closed and we need to reset. I didn't think so. Remember guys, I was on cup contending team going into the season. I was on that team. I was cheering for the Stanley Cup Finals. I had the Jets maybe potentially winning the West or being at top 3 in that conference. Call me a fool, because I fell for it. Because I'm a fan. Like so many of you, but this team has just shown that we cannot win with what we are doing right now. And it's not worth just wasting these players' years, even though we already have. We're spent to the cap, reset, bring up some youth, and experiment. Cole Perfetti could be exactly what this team needs. Dylan Samberg could be exactly what this team needs. Ville Heinola. Mikhail Burden could be a really nice surprise to have there and really have a good, solid backup tandem at the NHL level. We don't know yet. There's so many possibilities with this team, with what we have in the prospect cabinet and what we could bring in with guys that are expiring and are really good, appealing trade deadline assets. I'm getting very concerned about this season. I think you should be too. I think you should be asking these questions that I am. I'll be making more videos coming up in the next few weeks going into the trade deadline about what I think the Jets should do, and that's all going to really depend on how this record and how these next couple of weeks show up. February is going to be a crucial, excruciating month for the Winnipeg Jets and almost every other team in the NHL that's had to cancel games and have them postponed since December. It's going to be tough. I will be live for Saturday's game in the afternoon against Boston, so if you guys want to come and watch that game with me, I'll be live on YouTube. You can turn on notifications. You'll get the notification bell go on your phone, your computer, whatever, when the stream starts. So yeah, take a look out for that. I'll be live right around puck drop and anthem time. Yeah, I hope you thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts about this game down in the comment section below. As always, if you're new to this channel, regardless of the team that you root for, definitely consider dropping a subscription. We're getting very, very close to 2K subscribers, a huge milestone. I still can't believe we're so close to something like that. So thank you all for all that support, as always. And if you'd like to help me get there, I'm just a biased Jets fan, so if you want to check out another fan's perspective from time to time, drop a subscription. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, check out the Prairie Puck Podcast and all the other affiliated links down in the description below. Have a great rest of your night, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you all on Saturday. Go Jets, go! Have a great rest of your night. Bye-bye.